What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back on your screens again, and thank you. Thank you so much for having me back on your screen. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you in advance, hopefully, for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to Two Gun Pixie. So what do I got for you today? I wanted to show off how to play a game that me and the 20-Sided Warriors have loved when this thing has hit the table. We really do enjoy this game, and I wanted to show it off and teach everyone how to play. So what game is that? Woo! Osprey Games presents Ultimate Edition Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, space. All right, so Osprey has delivered with us another one of the cool book boxes, as I like to call them. And you open it up. Really nice drawing on the inside of the box. And there is the map books, which we'll get to in a moment. Some dry erase pens, and some cards. Now let's figure out what all these things have to do with playing the game. All right, now, so for the setup of this game, each player is going to be getting a map book, which has 8 different maps, 8 different levels of the space station, the scientific space station Selva. It's suggested that you play the first map, which is, I believe, called Galilee. And this is a good starter map, good starter level for your first time running through the game. Each player is also going to be getting themselves a dry erase marker to be able to write notes on top of the map. And the books on the cover here, right, so they have spaces to keep track of everything. And after the 40th turn, if you haven't gotten off the spaceship, you're dead. Eaten by the aliens. And it also shows up here what each of the special cards get to, and we'll get to that in a few moments. And also what the areas on the map or the card, these up here are for the card, symbols that you'll find on the cards, what they mean. So that's pretty cool right there. You don't have to keep going back to the rule book or even really worry about a player aid or cheat card, because it's all right here on your map. Now the other thing is, as far as the setup goes, that all players are going to have to agree on one of these sectors. So again, as I said, the game suggests to use the first sector for the first play of the game, which is incidentally what we did, and it went great, and I do highly suggest following the instructions and using this as your first game through. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to see these cards over here. These are called the Danger Sector cards. So why don't we take a look at them? Okay, now, so for the Danger Sector cards, and these are the cards that the players are going to be drawing as they're moving secretly across the board, is when they move into a space that they are going to be drawing a Danger Sector card if they're in one of these gray areas. The white areas are not part of this. So the gray areas, danger, Will Robinson, danger. So you're going to draw a card, and there are 3 types of cards that you can draw. The first one is noise in your sector. If this is the card you draw, you have to admit, you have to state out loud to the other players where the noise is coming from. Now, you don't have to tell them that it is a noise in your sector card. You just have to draw the card. You see that it's a noise in your sector. And if your sector, let's say, is H13, then you'll simply say noise in H13. Now, the other type of card is the noise in any sector. So if you draw this card, and as I said, you were in H13, you would simply say anything you wanted as far as which sector a noise came from. You could say that even though you were really in H13, that it came from I07, or that it came from P09 or T12, or H13, if for some reason you think that that's going to work in fooling your other players. Now, the third type of card is silence. It's a little hard to see. It's just stars. It's just stars. So if you draw this one, you simply say silence in all sectors. Now, before I go on, I just want to say, yes, the artwork is dark. It definitely is, but that is for thematic purposes, because you are supposed to be in a space station that has lost all power, while your crewmates are turning into hideous, alien, hybrid, human, genetic monstrosities that are trying to kill you and eat you. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the review. Well, the how to play, I'm sorry. So these are the three types of cards. But there are other cards that will appear in the deck that are silence in all sector cards, and I wanted to explain them to you because they are very important to the strategy of the game. So let me set up a few of those, and I'll talk you through it. All right, so here are the 10 different types of cards that you could draw as silence in all sector cards. Now, these are cards that if you get them, you're going to hold them in your hand because they're things that you can use later. So, and they all have symbols up in the top left corner, as you see, that identify them as being different, as being unique, besides the artwork, obviously. So, starting with this one here, this card is attack. And if you get this card and you're human, then you can use this card at any time to try to make an attack. The humans, unlike the alien monstrosities in this game, are not allowed normally to attack. They are just running as fast as they can, trying to get to escape pods. But if you have this card, you get a chance to make one attack in your area. In the sector, with these little hexagons that you're at, you're able to make an attack. Now, this second one here is teleport. And this card lets you teleport exactly to the beginning of the human sector. The human sector is marked off with this symbol right here. This is on the first board. This symbol shows where the humans are going to be secretly starting. So if you get this and you find yourself in any trouble, or you make it, let's say, all the way to a pod and it's not functioning, instead of running all around trying to get to another one and you have that, you could teleport back here and start all over again. And also, since the other players are trying to track everyone's movements as best as they can, doing something like a teleport can really mess up somebody's mapping of what they believe to be your movement. So this one here, the lightning bolt symbol, that is adrenaline. And you can take that, you can use that once, and it'll give you an extra move action. The next symbol here is called sedatives. And if you use this, you do not have to draw a danger sector card this turn, even if you move into a danger sector. So it kind of lets you, I don't know, maybe speed through it, I guess, is the reasoning. So the last one on the top row here is defense. That's why it looks like a shield, obviously. And if you have this card on you and you get attacked during the game, you can play the card to, you get it, defend yourself. Now, starting down in the bottom row here, we have this one, if you can take a guess, Spotlight card. Now, when you play this card, you name any sector on the map that you are playing. Name any sector at all when you play this card. And that sector, let's say it's right here at I-09, and all these sectors around it, I-08, J-08, J-09, I-10, H-09, and H-08, all of those locations are, well, thematically they're flooded with floodlights. Spotlights. So if there's anybody in those sectors when that happens, they have to announce it. This one over here, the human sign with the plus on it, and the bat. Can you take a guess? Anyone? Bueller? That is a clone. So when you get this card, if you get killed in the game, you're able to play this card and you'll start back at the human sector again. This one here is a sensor, the arrow pointing at the pawn, meeple kind of figure. That is a sensor. And when you play that card, players must immediately announce their exact location coordinates. So you play it on another player, and they got to tell you exactly where they are because you're at a computer or something, and you got a little power up, or maybe you got a handheld device. That's what this actually kind of looks like. And they got to tell you where they are. Now, the last two cards here, This one is Mutation. Mutation, yeah. So if you play this card, you, as a human, you turn into one of the aliens that everyone is running from. And, if for whatever reason you think you're going to lose, or you just want to be that guy at the gaming table, halfway through the game or so, you could just do that and switch, and now people who already think that you're a human because of everything that you're doing, maybe you got attacked and defended yourself, there's no way that they're thinking you're an alien, and you get to go right at them. They're never going to see you coming. Now, this last one here, yes, you are correct. Right, meow, you are correct. That is a cat. So when you play this card, you are able to declare noise in 2 different sectors, as if you had just drawn a noise in your sector card. But it can be any sector, one of them has to be your sector, and the other sector has to be from somewhere else. So that's pretty cool and helps distract. So those are the cards in the Danger Sector deck, which game setup you are going to be shuffling. So let's get back to the rest of setup, now that you know what these cards are that you're shuffling, and let's get back into exactly how you play this game. So after you shuffle the sector cards, the Danger Sector cards, as I said, what you're going to do is you're going to go through this deck here, this deck, which is called the character cards. Now, let me show those off to you because this is very important. This is where the whole hidden identity comes in. So the character cards are broken down into human crew and alien crew. There are 8 of each set in the game. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the number of players and you're going to divide it evenly. If it's not an even number of players, the odd number will always go to the alien. So if it's a 5-player game, it's going to be 2 versus 3. If it's a 6-player game, it's going to be 3 versus 3. So for setup, what you're going to do is you're going to take the appropriate number out. Like, let's say it was a 6-player game. You would shuffle it up, each deck independently. So you would shuffle up the human deck and then blindly and randomly off the top draw 3 cards. And you would do the same randomly with the alien deck. You would shuffle it up, randomly take 3 cards blindly off the top, and you don't know what any of these 6 cards are, but you know it's 3 and 3, and you're going to put them together, and you're going to shuffle them, and then everyone is going to be getting a card face down that only they will take a look at. But what is the difference? What is the difference between this? Well, everybody has their own ability. They have something that they can do that sort of breaks the rules, bends the rules, gives them a special ability. This here is the captain, and he does not have to draw a danger sector card the first time that he moves into a danger sector. So the first time, he doesn't have to draw one. That's not too bad, because it really helps to continue to confuse the alien players that are secretly trying to track everyone. The pilot can announce 2 noises upon drawing a danger sector card once, as if he had used a cat card. So he basically has the cat card ability to name 2 spots. The psychologist begins the game in the alien sector. Ooh. Unfortunately, though, aliens can attack and kill aliens, since nobody knows who anybody is in this game. Very first game we played, Ryan got knocked out, I think, in the second or the third round, because the other alien player thought he was a human and attacked him and killed him. So that's pretty interesting because it can definitely confuse the other players. The soldier can attack once, just as if he has had the attack card. He has that natural ability. Here we have the executive officer. Now he can stay still and not actually move during his turn once during the game. Everyone has to move every turn. Humans get to move once. Aliens get a choice of moving once or twice. So he gets to move none. Again, it can help confuse the players that are trying their best to try to track everyone playing the game so that they can kill the humans or escape from the aliens. So the co-pilot has the teleport card ability. So once during a game, when he wants to, he can teleport right back to the human sector. The engineer gets to draw 2 escape pod cards when he reaches an escape pod sector, and then he gets to choose which one to use. The unused escape pod is going to be reshuffled with the remaining ones. And we'll get to that in a moment, because that's the next thing I'm going to go over is the escape pod cards. But that can be life-saving, as we found out playing this game. Lastly, the medic. Now, he can force another player to reveal their identity once per game. He has to reveal his identity, but he gets to do a check, let's say, to be able to find out if another player is a human or an alien. Now, this is actually interesting, because if he makes someone reveal that they're a human and they end up having the mutation card, then they can always later on change things up, and that really, really confuses. So those are the humans. Now, for the aliens, we have the Blink alien, and he's able to use the teleport cards when found. Normally the aliens can't use cards, but this one here, the Blink alien, is able to use the teleport card when he finds it without revealing his identity. The Silent alien, he can use sedative items when he finds them, and follows all the normal rules as if he had played the card. Likewise, the Surge alien is able to use the Adrenaline card when he finds it. This is the Big Brute, and he is immune to all attacks, from whether it's from a human or an alien. However, he must disclose his identity, must reveal himself when an attack happens. Ooh, he's been a problem before. The Invisible alien is immune to the sensor item and the spotlight. Yeah, so you can imagine how he's messed with us in this game in the past. The Lurking alien. Now, he can choose to directly attack in his sector instead of moving first. So that's actually has turned out in the game to be quite interesting tactically. That's been used against me personally, I'm not proud to say, which has taken me completely by surprise. Now, the Fast alien. As I said, normally the humans can only move one area, while the aliens can move 1 or 2. Well, judging by the name, you're right. The Fast alien is able to move up to 3 sectors on his very first move of the game. So by the second move, he could be 5 spaces from where he started. And it's not a great, huge boon in the beginning of the game, because nobody knows exactly where everyone is sort of flooding out to, but it does give a pretty big advantage to sometimes surprising people. And the last one that could be drawn for the aliens is the Psychic alien. Now, he always, every time he gets to go, he behaves as if he had drawn a Noise in Any Sector card whenever he plays a silence card. So he really messes with you. That's why he's Psychic, because he's getting in your mind. All right, let's take a look at the escape pod cards, and then we'll put this all together, and you'll see how the game is played. So now the last thing you want to do for the setup section of this game is you're going to take the 5 escape pod cards and you're going to shuffle them up as best as you can, and you're going to make a draw deck out of them. So whenever a player reaches one of the marked spaces for the escape pods, they're going to blindly draw from the top of the deck and see what they get. 4 of the cards are good. Your escape pod works. You get away and you escape from the aliens in outer space. Unless you draw this one. It has been destroyed, puny humans. So in that case, if you get here and that's the card you draw, you are SOL, my friends. And you're going to have to try to race to one of the other spaces and go for that. At least then you know, because there's only one in the deck, you know that there is no chance of you not getting away. Unless, of course, you don't make it all the way to the other pod. Aw, too bad the aliens got you. All right, so why don't we put this all together and see how the game flows. So now, each player has their identity, which no one has seen. The danger sector has been shuffled. The escape pods have been shuffled. You've determined on your map, and you each have your book and your dry erase pen. Now, everyone's going to keep these books here to themselves. You don't want anyone else to see it because you're going to be marking off notes down here. I guarantee you're going to be marking off notes down here where you think people may be or may be trying to fool you at being. And over here, you're going to keep track on the first turn, the second, the third, the fourth, and such, all the way down till turn 40. And you're going to be writing down your exact movements here with the dry erase pen. If there's anything that you need to know from drawing a card, all the symbols are up here, so you just have to see them, you have to read them, and don't worry, you're going to be getting used to these symbols before the first game is even out, I guarantee that. So the first player is going to be chosen randomly after the cards are dealt out, however you want to do that. Well, no cards being dealt out, I meant the characters. And then when the first player is chosen, they'll start with the first player, and it'll be going clockwise from there. So remember, nobody knows who anybody is, so you're keeping marks secret. Again, I can't stress that enough. You're keeping this secret, you're keeping this hidden from everyone, because there is no, whoa, earthquake striking. There is no board to play on. There are no pieces to move. This is it. This is the entirety of your game, this and the cards. So the first player is going to move depending on what he or she is and how they want to do it. If the first player is a human, you can only move one sector. So on this map, you're going to be starting here as the humans. So you have a choice of 1, 2, and 3. You can either move to K06, LO5, or MO6, and you're going to mark it down. You're going to mark it down on your pad up here. Now, when you move into an area, now here in this example for the humans, the only place on the first move they can move is into a danger sector. So the first player moves. Let's say it's a human. They move out here. They're going to draw a card blindly off the top. They're going to look at it and not let anyone see it. And in this case, it is a noise in your sector. So if I was playing as a human and I drew this card and I moved out to K06, I would have to draw this and say noise in K06. And then I would put the card down again without letting anybody see it, creating a discard pile. Since the discard pile is put face down so nobody sees it, I would suggest just to put them down in a different position, like such, because as this pile gets smaller and this gets larger, if it's like this, you might lose track if you're not paying attention in the heat of the game because you're too busy trying to plot out everybody's moves. So, and then that's it. And then it's going to move on to the second player. And everyone is going to continue moving, drawing cards appropriately, or making statements. So you're going to notice that if you move into one of the white areas here, you're just going to declare you're not going to be drawing anything right there. So that's a tactical move. And besides that, you're going to be collecting cards while you're playing the game. Any card that's an item card, I already pulled them out, for example, so they're all misplaced. Okay, like this one. So you're going to draw this one. It's silent in all sector, as you see because of the symbol here. But you also see that it's adrenaline. So you're going to get to hold on to this card. This is going to go off in front of you somewhere. And you're going to hold on to it until you have to use it or want to use it. And so you will be collecting cards in your hand. There's no such thing as a card size limit. But you're only going to be collecting them for items. So as you grab them, your fellow players are going to be realizing that you have items in your hand. What those items are, they really won't know. And that's part of the whole trick. That's the thing. You want to try to outsmart the other players. You need to outsmart the other players to either get to an escape pod or to kill them. And when they get killed, they come back as a alien monster out to eat humans. And the game will continue. It goes, like I said, up until round 40. If it gets to round 40 and no one has escaped, the game is over. And the humans are all dead and or made into more aliens, which I'm sure will then get to the working pods and make it down to Earth and start turning all humans into aliens. Hey, Osprey, that's actually a good idea for a sequel to this game. all humans must be aliens. I don't know, just thinking off the top of my head. But that's it. That's how incredibly easy this game is to play. As soon as you know what the cards are, which, like I said, you're going to have them figured out. You're going to know these symbols before the first game is even over. And same thing with the symbols for the escape pods, which is really easy. Green is good. Red is bad. There's only one red in it. And getting used to the humans and the aliens and knowing what they can do. So that really is the whole game. I spent most of this how-to just telling you what the cards do, because that's really turn by turn how easy this game is. You're going to make a move on your turn, and that's it. Maybe one move, maybe two, maybe 2 moves or 3 moves, depending on whether you're an alien or you have some items. But that's it. You make a move, you mark it down on your pad in the appropriate number, and you draw a card, and whatever the card is, that's what you're going to end up doing. So this is a noise in any sector. So right there's a noise where I am or am not, depending on how I want to fool you. And that's the games. Good luck to the humans. I found this game to be about 50-50 human to alien winning ratio, actually. So maybe I don't need to say good luck to the humans. But yeah, so that's it in a nutshell, my friends. And that's it. It really is that easy. Move, draw a card, or make a declaration of no noise at all. And collect your items and try to either kill the other players or get to an escape pod. And yes, in this game, aliens can kill aliens. Remember, it's not like the aliens know who each other are and are working together. I mean, they can try to figure that out and think they know who each other are, but they don't know. And as I pointed out, that's how Ryan's alien died the very first time he played the game within a couple of rounds. Another alien thought he was a human and killed him. So you got to be careful. So that's it. So for Osprey Games' Ultimate Edition of Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. I love doing that. All right, I'm your host, Big Johnny G, for Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, as you know, the rumors are true. I am so out of here.